Welcome to the working week, everybody. Today, the focus is on Jude Bellingham. Maybe after La Liga weekend, the focus should maybe be upon the fact that Betis are playing really well and winning again. The fact that Valencia managed to nick a point at the death against Villarreal. There were headlines galore. Pretty good football, tons of goals. But my attention is focused on Jude Bellingham because I think there's a couple of pretty serious issues that surge forward from the red card he saw in the 1-1 draw up in Pamplona, where Hemingway wrote about the bull running, against Osasuna. For my taste, the way I see things, last year Jude Bellingham's temper began to nag at him. And I understood why. This isn't going to be an outright defence of the Englishman, although I have to say that I'd be a hypocrite, a total hypocrite, if I didn't admit that I really respect and enjoy the limit of competitive aggression in football. As an amateur sportsman, I saw the red card a couple of times. I was aggressive, I think within a respectable boundary, but one of the red cards I got was for cursing at the referee for a bad decision. So I'm going to try and avoid hypocrisy and explain that what I saw beginning from last season was referees in Spain beginning to see this big, jaunty, forceful Englishman, therefore a foreigner, imposing himself physically. Not, in my view, fouling all the time. But Bellingham's role was very much to jostle, to jockey, to tackle, but to intercept too. Win aerial battles, duels they're called now. And above and beyond his marvellous goal total last season, and becoming Spanish champion and becoming European champion in his first season, he was a force of nature, tackling back, breaking down opposition attacks, robbing the ball and charging. And largely last season, when he began to feel that referees were targeting him and getting it wrong, mostly I agreed with him. I felt that Spanish referees blew a foul against him more readily, more quickly, not because he was playing for Real Madrid, but because he was a big physical specimen, a foreigner, and referees are human beings. They're affected by subliminal, subconscious forces. And I thought that his growing anger had some justification. And that meant that last season, not just this season, he was growling and roaring at fourth officials, at linesmen, and at referees. Sent off once at Valencia last season in what was a deeply controversial match. Sent off after the final whistle. Again, dissent. Sent off at Osasuna, where the issue is not, if you've been reading up on the coverage, the issue is not did he say fuck you or fuck off. As Hansi Flick, the Barca coach, quite shrewdly and dryly commented, either one's a lack of respect. If you use either of those expressions, there's a chance the referee's going to send you off. And somebody at Madrid could have easily briefed Jude and said, your particular referee this Saturday gets the hump at dissent. He's one of the two single most likely referees in Spain to send a player off for giving him grief. Maybe nobody did. Maybe the moment when Bellingham legitimately thought there had been a penalty ignored in Madrid's favour. I think the rules, the modern rules, suggest that the referee might have been right not to give it. I'd have given it, I have to say. And in the old days, there's no question it would have been a penalty. But Jude directed himself to the referee, gave him a mouthful of grief, and was sent off. My point is this. I think Madrid are complicit in the way that Jude Bellingham feels and behaves. You won't be watching Real Madrid television, but before every particularly domestic match, Real Madrid television pumps out a ton of sewage about the incoming referee. He did this, he did that, he gave this disgraceful decision against us, he denied us this penalty. They're all against us. If you don't mind me quoting Kenneth Williams as Julius Caesar, infamy, infamy. They've all got it in for me. You might think this is a trifling matter, but I think that it is now conditioning everybody across the club. It's something that Real Madrid television do with the blessing, patently with the blessing of the president, Florentino Perez. I know factually that last season Carlo Ancelotti told a mutual friend of his and mine that he didn't approve of it. But this season, he's caught up definitely, and the world's against us, everything's wrong, referees are giving a series of bad decisions against us. And then what happens is that the feeling that the referees are against Madrid gets fueled by the disgraceful decision not to send off Romero of Espanyol when he lunged kung fu style studs out at Kylian Mbappe a couple of weeks ago in the 1-0 win, which Romero sealed with a late goal when he should have been red carded. There was no question that not only were Madrid hard done by in the failure of that referee to give a red, but hard done by in that all 3 points went down to Swanee because it was Romero who scored the winner in added time. When Bellingham feels got at by referees, and there's some basis to it, and Real Madrid television every week, and this is being picked up by the radio and the papers, every single week is pumping out a message: we're being cheated, the referees are against us. It's contagious. And when it's compounded by a horrendous decision which costs 3 points at Espanyol, I can understand Bellingham's fury. The big question for him now is how to use it, to contain it, to apply it, to drive himself on, or to keep, because this was the second domestic match in a row where Bellingham had fuck offed to an official. He was caught on camera and television the previous week giving extreme grief and using fuck off to an official. That will catch you up. Don't matter who you are, which club, eventually an official will say that's enough. What ban he's going to receive is incoming. It will depend a little bit about how seriously they take either an expression of disgust and swearing or whether it was direct abuse at the referee. Jude Bellingham has a dilemma on his hands. The atmosphere is fervid, too heated, it's ugly, and people are telling him you're being wronged. Deep inside, he's burning with competitive fury and competitive aggression. How he uses it, how he channels it from this pivotal moment on will determine a lot about how far Real Madrid go, both in the Champions League and whether they can defend, a rarity, whether they can defend their La Liga title. Thanks for being there. Stay in touch.